Again, quick reminders, the chill room there, chill room is always open for you to enter and there's music playing in there. And then we have Allie from Discovery Counseling today, who's gonna be our therapist that's on hand at all times. You can see her waving at the camera. Quick reminder that we are checking to see who's registered before letting them in, which is why this process takes a little bit longer than usual. Yeah, okay. But we do have a lot to do today, and we had a lot to do yesterday. And I was looking at the feedback forms, and a lot of you wanted the conference to be even longer, which is really great, and wanted the sessions like Share Your Story and the Zcash discussion to be even longer. So it's really, really great. In the future, we just had so much to cover in this conference. We'll try to make sessions that you enjoyed longer, which is why those feedback forms are so important. Okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. So yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Virtual Teen Mental Health Conference, Day 2. We're gonna get started right now and start getting settled in. But I'd really appreciate it if all of you could turn on your video cameras, since this is a highly interactive conference, and change your Zoom names to your first name, last name, and then pronouns, like it says on the screen. And then I do have a few people helping me today, parents, cousins, and some friends who will be helping me throughout the conference with breakout rooms and really overall Zoom things, and just see who's registered before letting them in. So yes, again, please make sure to change your Zoom names and turn on your cameras so it's more interactive. So before getting into anything, we're gonna start off with a mindful moment today as well, because it's, again, early in the day for me, especially, at least in my opinion. And then we can get settled into the space and acknowledge that it's a safe place for all of us. So Pooja will be guiding us through this mindful moment just like yesterday. And she's been an incredible help throughout this conference and a space for me to bounce back ideas with. So I'm incredibly grateful for all her help. Pooja, why don't you get us started?
All right, good morning, everyone. It's good to see so many faces again, and I'm so glad everyone's tuning in for Day 2. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with our mindful moment of the day. All right. Please sit comfortably in a quiet place with your spine up tall. Relax your shoulders, your belly, and your thighs. Shift back slightly so that your head and shoulders sit directly over your hips. Close your eyes and feel into the connection between your hips, your legs, and the earth. As you breathe gently in and out through your nose, allow yourself to get further settled into your seat. With this rooting down, notice the energy you receive back from the earth. Feel how your connection to the support underneath you helps you feel tall, awake, alert, and alive. Remain connected to the body and the breath. Aware of your body and your breath. Feel how the body seemingly breathes itself without you thinking. Notice into the wonder of the rise and fall of your chest, the wonder of the continual movement of breath. Release any tension and soften your body into a deep feeling of gratitude for your body, everything it does, and your breath. Sense your heart opening to the miracle that is your body. Recognize all the wonderful ways in which it functions and all the amazing ways in which it allows you to connect with our world. Remember that we are here in this space to learn from each other and share with each other. We are also here to support one another. Think about all of the things you wish to take away from this weekend, all of the things you gained from yesterday, and all of the things that you wish to leave behind. Start to pay attention to your breath by taking mindful breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe in for the count of 4 and out for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you are ready, open your eyes and take this amazing feeling of gratitude and rootedness with you throughout the rest of today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you, Pooja. That was wonderful. And I hope everyone feels more calm and settled down in the space now. Again, if I do keep looking over to the side, it's because I'm sharing my screen on a separate computer, but you'll see me look over here quite a lot so I can change things and for Zoom settings and such. So again, similar to yesterday, I do want to start off with the short disclaimer that we have. You've all read this disclaimer before on the forums. Oh, okay, on the forums. It's just all content and media, everything that we discussed in this conference is for informational purposes only. It's not supposed to be a substitute for professional medical advice, or you shouldn't rely on it as personal advice either. Always make sure to seek the guidance of your doctor or any other mental health professionals with any questions you have regarding your health. And don't ignore something that they said because of something you've heard or listened to during this conference. And then, of course, just for the safety of everyone here, don't screenshot or record any parts of this conference. And then, yeah, any videos or images of participants from this conference can be used solely for the purpose of not the organization. And you're all here with your parents' signature, so that's great. Okay. I did, so thank you all for joining us today. If you feel uncomfortable at any point, I'll repeat it again. Feel free to join the chill room, breakout room. That'll always be open for you, and we'll let you know when any triggering subject is passed. So we also have Allie today, who's from Discovery Counseling Center, and she's a therapist who's on hand for Sunday, and she'll be here for us the entire conference. So without further ado, Not the End is very excited to have our first conference and have this be day 2 of it, which is kind of shocking. I mentioned this yesterday, but I do see a few new faces. So our purpose is to stimulate conversation around mental health by peer-to-peer connection and communication. So that's what our purpose is. And yesterday I shared the story of why I decided to create Not the End. Quite frankly, we don't have enough time for me to repeat the whole thing again right now, but long story short, a lot of my friends got mental illnesses in middle school, and I ended up being put in a situation where I was told not to tell adults how they were feeling and had to basically be a therapist to them when I myself didn't know what was happening since I was in middle school. And then I was put in a situation where I had to call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline because I wasn't sure if they would be alive the next day, and it was not a pleasant experience. So fortunately, they're here with us still today with the support of their parents and their loved ones and their support system and their therapist. So it's definitely hard on a lot of people in middle school, which is why Not the End was created, because there's so much awareness that needs to be put out there, and that the idea that it's okay to not be okay, and you have so many resources out there. If you do want to check out the whole mini spiel I had yesterday, I think we're putting the recording on the website shortly or soon, if you want to check it out. It's pretty similar to what our volunteers yesterday, or the people who were at our conference yesterday, they shared some of their personal stories. I'm not going to say who or what they shared since we didn't record that portion. And it was really vulnerable of them, and they were honestly so brave. It's really similar to how they talked about how it's tough on both sides. With mental illness, the friend who does have a mental illness and wants to know that they have a support system, but also the friend who is a listener and has to and wants to listen to all the problems, but sometimes, it gets a lot. So it's really a difficult time overall. So we do want to let you all know that there are resources available. Again, before we continue, I want to emphasize that this is a safe place. So here are some community agreements for the conference. Community agreements are like rules or respectful guidelines that we have to follow while we're in this conference to be respectful to each other and be respectful to our speakers. So most of these are pretty common sense, but I will go over them anyways. Shared square is a cute name for a rule. It's everything that's shared in this room stays in this room. And we're really fortunate to have had such an engaging conversation and discussion yesterday, and a lot of people were able to open up. So everything that we discussed yesterday will stay there and will not be coming out today or anytime else unless they're comfortable with sharing again. And then use gender neutral terms. I see everyone put their pronouns in the name, so that's really, really great. And then of course, avoid using LBS language. Be present. We are a community. We are here together. Like Pooja said, we are on this earth and we are ground here. And of course, be respectful. All right. So this was the agenda for yesterday. I want to do a quick recap of yesterday for all of the new people who joined today. Yeah. So before we move on, this is a recap of what we did yesterday. We definitely learned a lot. We started off with our keynote speaker, Amanda Lip, who told us about her personal story and as a member of the LGBT community, struggling with accepting herself and then reaching a state of psychosis in her freshman year of college to finally going through the mental health care system and then finally becoming an advocate. She shared a lot of different tips, which we don't have time to go over now, but she really encouraged trying to identify how you were feeling and then reclaiming that emotion and so you have more control over it. So you can put a word to whatever you're feeling and then it helps you feel like you have a sense of control over why you're feeling that way. We also did have a really great informative session by Graham Wiseman, but unfortunately there were some connection issues yesterday, but we were able to work it through it. And I do have a few of his slides on my presentation right now, since it was a lot of information from our SRV USD. So I'm gonna take a look over here so I can look at the slides a bit more. But so he talked to us about information that they got from the California Healthy Kids Survey, which we all fill out in 7th grade, 9th grade, and 11th grade if you're part of the SRV USD district. But we don't normally get to see the results of this. So this has been pretty cool looking at them. But yeah, so the first question, it says, like, during the past 12 months, did you ever feel so sad or hopeless almost every day for 2 weeks or more that you stopped doing some usual activities? And 33% of people in our state of California did feel this way. But in our SRV USC district, we had 46% females and 24% males, which does show like an increase in females feeling this way in our district compared to the nation, the state average, which is a pretty concerning statistic. But this one was a lot more interesting that he shared with us yesterday. His audio did get cut, but if you take a look at the slide, during the question was, during the past 12 months, did you ever seriously consider attempting suicide? For the state, the percentage of people who answered yes to this question was 15.5. But for our district, we got 22%, which is, in a survey like this, is significantly higher than the average. This is why we have to take this so seriously, especially in our school district. So that's what Northland is planning on doing and helping with that, working with other nonprofits and such. He also shared a few more slides about symptoms of anxiety, and he talked about like these are all a list. You can all take a look at the slide. It's all a list of signs and symptoms of teen anxiety. And he mentioned how in our district, at least in schools in our district, we tend to reward students for this kind of behavior, such as being on time, being a perfectionist, getting it redone if you didn't like it the first time, striving for approval, and things like that. And those are behaviors that we tend to reward in our district. And that's what he mentioned, that there is a change that needs to be made within that and that mentality that we have here. So that's really interesting. Okay, now we're on to, we're on to day 2. Oh, actually, this is still day 1. I apologize. We did have the break and then share your story. And then in the share your story, we had some really interesting stories shared that helped us also open up a lot more. And they were incredibly brave for sharing so. And then We Were Changemakers from We Were Community had some controversial questions for us. So we had a lot of fun finding more about each other and discussing. So let's try to bring that same energy into today as we did yesterday with these kind of questions. Lastly, of course, Sam and Katie from ZCare's Youth Board, they joined us and they showed us clips from the film Angst, and we had a really good discussion about anxiety and what causes stress in our lives, and really just reminding ourselves that we do have a support system and people who are there for us. So we looked at the feedback form yesterday, and a lot of you really, really liked that part of the discussion. So I'm really glad this conference was engaging. Finally, we're on to day 2. So day 2, where we started with the mindful moment, will be done. We finished the recap, so we'll be done with the introduction soon. Next, we do have a speech from Dr. Anurag Marol. He's going to be speaking about youth empowerment and what he does, basically. He's a Stanford professor and has several roles within Stanford, and SEVA, which is a nonprofit organization. We also have the SEVA youth team presenting, and those are his mentees, and they did a research project on mental health last year during the pandemic and have some really interesting statistics that they took based on a survey they took from students all over the SRVUSD district. Then we do have to have some kind of engaging aspect. So we have a resiliency and values activity by Patty Hoyt, my Girl Scout Gold Award advisor. She'll, through this activity, we'll be able to learn a lot more about ourselves, and we'll even be breaking into breakout rooms so we can discuss in small groups about what we found out. Then, of course, we do have this suicide prevention training by Scott Chavez from Contra Costa Crisis Center. They've modified this training just for this program since it's usually for professionals. So we're really, really grateful and lucky to be able to complete this program and do it today. All right. Let's see the time. Okay. That was kind of it for all I had to go about in the introduction. Sorry, I kind of sped through that kind of quickly, but I do want to make sure that we do have enough time. I kind of want to start off with more of like just the next 10 minutes, slightly those like have more of those controversial questions and have kind of a discussion. I know it's pretty early in the morning, but I hope you'll all engage with us and communicate. Eshna, actually, I think I saw that you joined this call.
Hi, I am here. Sorry, my camera's off. I literally look like a mess right now.
No, it's okay.
So I'll do this with my camera off, then I'll fix my face a little bit and turn my camera on.
Sounds good. Sorry, I put you on the spot a little bit.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so more of these controversial questions. Not really controversial, but okay, let's just get started. This is not really a debate question, but just something interesting. I think we could learn a little bit about everybody. So what's the weirdest or the best smell you've ever smelled? It's an interesting question.